happens is I will not be taking the lecture always. There will be other doctors. So where they take, that depends. So you can find either in boys side or girls side. It's going to be both the sides. Okay. So if you don't find in the boys side, it will be present in the girl side. If you don't find in the girl side, it will present in the boys side. So that way it will be. Okay. And see to it that the recordings can get deleted sometimes. This happened last semester, so better to take the recording immediately after the lecture. Okay, download the recording immediately after the lecture so that it remains with you always. Some of the recordings are like 150 to 200 MB. Okay, so not much of the space is taken by the recording. Okay, 200 MB around. So I think you can even share it through any social media app. If the Gmail or if the email service is not active, then you can use any social media apps. Okay, my connection is slightly not very stable. Okay, but anyway, I will start with the. I'll start maybe after 2 minutes. Okay, I'll start after 2 minutes. No issues. Okay. Fine. Let's start. If those who are inactive can join now. Okay. 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 Now this this lecture, for some, I have given the demonstration of the dental X-ray machine. Okay, and how to work on the dental X-ray machine practically. And now I will be speaking in detail the mechanism of X-ray production. Okay, how the X-rays are generated in this, and what are the different parts, and what are the different ways by which you can control the exposure of the X-rays. Okay, any coming out of the X-ray machine may have some effect on the human tissues, okay, on the human cells. Okay, so at the molecular level as well as at the cellular level, it can have some changes which can be reversible or it can become permanent. Okay, so keep that in mind so that we are sure that when we are dealing with X-rays, we are utilizing the benefits of X-rays as well as protecting ourselves from harmful effects of X-rays. Okay. My connection is slightly not very stable. Okay, you might find some break in the voice, but hopefully it should continue. Okay. Okay, fine. So uh, okay, now this dental X-ray machine, they have got mainly four parts. Okay, the tube head, the support arms, the control panel, and the plug electrical connection. Okay, this is the electrical connection. This is the tube head. Tube head comprises of the X-ray machine, X-ray proper, X-ray apparatus, and the PID, position indicating device. Okay, this is the position indicating device. I'll tell you again in detail each one. This is the support arms. Okay, the support arms are basically arms which support the tube head so that it can remain in the position where you want it to be. Okay, it should not move. So that is the use of support arms. So in the question, if I ask you what is the significance of having support arms, it is so that it remains or it keeps the tube head stable. The support arm basically helps in keeping the tube head in one position and keeping it more stable during the X-ray procedure. Okay, and there is something called as a control panel. Okay, so this control panel is like inside there are all settings in which you can play with the settings so that you can get the accurate amount of exposure for the patient. So depending on the size of the adult, if it is a child or if the adult patient, the X-ray settings are different. If it is for the anterior tooth, the X-ray settings are different. For the posterior teeth, the settings are different. So it is like differing for each tooth. So you can select using the control panel. Okay, the whole thing needs an electrical connection. So that is the use of the plug. Okay? So that is how the basic X-ray machine apparatus is. Okay. Okay. So we'll start with the basic parts: support arms, electrical connector, tube head, and the control panel. Okay. Before I move on with the basic parts of the X-ray machine, let me just brush up with the little bit about the physics, which you must have studied in your pre graduation days, in your 12th standard or 10th standard. You must have studied something of this: the alternating current and a direct current. There are two types of currents. Okay, alternating current and a direct current. This is the alternating current. Why it is called as alternating? Because it has got a positive wave and it has got a negative wave. Again a positive wave, again a negative wave. So it's like alternating. It goes like positive, negative, like that. So the electrical connection that we get from the transformer from the grid, outside Abha or Hamis, there is a big grid from where the the electricity is generated and it comes to your house. Okay, that electrical connection that we get from the main grid is actually a alternating current, positive and negative. We don't want the alternating current. Okay, alternating current is basically not very useful. Why? This is the you might get confused. This is the X-ray machine, by the way. This is the X-ray machine. You have got, this is the cathode here, okay, and this is the anode. I'll tell you what it is, how it is, but just for you to know the difference between this image and between this image, negative. Positive, you can see this black, this area, whereas in the negative, you don't see this area. This is the, X-ray generation. So X-rays are produced only in the positive wave. No X-rays are generated in the negative wave. That is why this is not good. So what is the other alternative to an alternating current? We have got direct current. Okay, direct current is DC. Okay, DC are the normal batteries. What you get, normally those batteries are DC current. They are direct current. So there is only positive wave. We only have got a positive wave. So X-rays are generated throughout the cycle. There is no negative wave. There is no negative wave. So X-rays will be generated completely. Suppose if I keep exposure time 1 second, for the whole 1 second the X-rays are generated. Whereas for the alternating current, only for the half, means 0.5 seconds X-rays will be generated. 0.5 seconds there will be no X-rays. Okay, so that is the disadvantage of using alternating current. So what the manufacturers do, they change the alternating current to a direct current, and then machine works on the direct current. So advantage is less patient exposure. Okay. So now if this is clear, now we'll move on to the tube head. Okay, what is the tube head? So every tube head have got a PID. Okay, this is a PID or BID, or simply we call it as a cone. Okay, a cone, CONE, cone. Now this is basically helpful in getting the direction of the X-rays. Okay, where you want to position. So this position indicating device, PID is position indicating device. This is one part. Also we've got degrees. In each X-ray machine there are degrees. Degrees means angulation. Okay, so 0 angulation, 10 angulation, 20, 30, like that. Okay, so on the tube head you have got some markings here, which are the angulations, which are helpful in orienting the tube head, whether up or down, positive, negative angulation. So that is the use of having degrees. So this is very important to have degrees on the tube head, because each tooth will have different degree of angulation for the tube head, because the teeth inside the mouth are not straight, are not vertical exactly. They are slightly at an angle. The angulation is more for the anterior teeth, and the angulation is less for the more posterior teeth. So as you go posteriorly, this angulation also changes, decreases mainly. Okay, so that is the use of degrees on the tube head, and the PID, position indicating device. Okay, this is the use of PID. What is this? This is the X-ray tube inside. Okay, this is what is the most important part. Okay, now just remember, we have got, I'll speak from I'll go from the left side, and then I'll go towards the right side, what things are there. Okay, on the left we have got the main part from where the electrons are generated. We need basically electrons. Okay, in the X-ray machine, for the production of X-rays, we need electrons. So these electrons are generated with the help of this spring. Okay, this is a small coil, we call it as, okay, coil of tungsten material. Okay, this is cathode. Okay, this part is cathode, this part is anode. So from the coil, or from this cathode, tungsten filament we call it, this is a tungsten filament. Okay, electrons are generated. Now when this heats up, electrons are generated and they are here. Okay, this is the second part. Okay, this is the second part. Okay, this is the focusing cup. Okay, this is the focusing cup. It's like a dish antenna. It focuses. What it focuses? It focuses these, the electrons which are here. Okay, it focuses them towards the anode, basically. Okay, what happens at the, now this is the cathode, simple. What is there at the anode? We have got again the tungsten, target. This is called as a target. This is tungsten filament. Okay, one. This is tungsten target. Both are made up of tungsten. The electrons at a high speed, they hit the tungsten target. As soon as they hit, X-rays are generated. These are the X-rays. Okay, these are the X-rays. Okay. So here are the X-rays generated. Okay, X-rays are here. Okay, fine. Now this, what you see orange color thing, this is the copper stem. Now this copper is basically helpful in absorbing all the heat from the tungsten target. Okay, because a high speed electron reaches and hits the tungsten target, a lot of amount of energy is converted into heat. So if it converts into heat, it can get burned, excessive heat. So you need to dissipate the heat. So that dissipation is with the help of this copper stem, number 4. Clear? This is simple, in simple terms, in simple this is how the X-ray machine works. So you've got a cathode, tungsten filament at the cathode. It releases the electrons. This focusing cup number 2 focuses the electrons towards the target. This target is also made up of tungsten. As soon as the electrons hit the target, some amount of energy is converted into X-rays and they come out. Major amount of energy is converted into heat, which is absorbed by the copper. So this is how it works. Now, what makes the electrons release, or what makes the filament release electrons, and what makes the electrons reach the anode at a high speed is really interesting. Okay, we'll come to that now. Just be with me. Okay, this whole X-ray apparatus is enclosed in a airtight, air-sealed envelope, and inside there is oil. Okay, oil is also placed inside. So what are the uses of this oil, and why you actually this is a vacuum? There is no air inside. So why there is no air? Because with the help of oxygen, the high-speed electron can get burned, oxidized. So you don't want any air inside. So air is removed. So there's a vacuum, and it is filled with oil. Okay, so if there is an oil, it helps in absorbing all the heat. Okay, so that is also one of the function of oil, heat also, and it can filter some X-rays also. Anyway, so this is how X-ray machine works. See this is the filament. Okay, tungsten filament. This is the cup, focusing cup. Okay, focusing cup. Electrons are generated by the filament and they hit the anode at a high speed. As soon as they hit the anode, photons, X-rays or X-ray photons are generated and they come out from here. So this is cathode, is also made up of tungsten filament, and anode is also having tungsten target, tungsten material. Tungsten is a metal actually, and this target is attached to a copper stem, which absorbs all the heat. There is all vacuum inside, and there is a glass envelope which is airtight. Okay. Okay. So this was in short how the X-ray machine works. Now I'll just tell you how anode looks like. Okay, this is the side view of the anode, and this is the front view of the anode. When you see from the front, it is round. When you see from the side, it is like a rectangle which is beveled, or it is cut at one side. Okay, that means the target is at an angulation. So X-rays are coming basically from here. Electrons are coming basically from here. Okay, high speed electrons, they come from here like this. Okay, and then they hit the target. Okay, and when they hit the target, then we have got X-rays generated here. They are directed downwards. Okay, like this. So this is how it works. This is the rectangular sheet of tungsten and a copper stem. What happens at the cathode? We have got a filament which is made up of tungsten again, and it is enclosed in a focusing cup. What is the focusing cup made up of? It is made up of molybdenum. Okay? Molybdenum. This is the focusing cup. This is also round from the anterior, and from the side it is looking like this. Okay? So these are the cross-sectional and the front view of the cathode. What about inside? Now this is important. We have got transformer. Basically transformer is something which increases or decreases the voltage that we get from the grid. From the outside is around 200 volts. Okay, 200 volts of voltage we get from the grid. So transformer basically something that transforms. So these transformers, they change the 220 volts to a different voltage that we want. So we have got two types of transformers, step down and step up. The name suggests step up transformer means it increases the step up, basically it increases the voltage. Okay, step down is it decreases the voltage. So why we need both? If you can see from this figure, you can see this step down transformer is attached only to the cathode. And which part of the cathode? It is attached to the filament. So two ends of the filament are connected to the step down transformer. What about step up transformer? Step up transformer is connected to the one end is to the cathode and one end is to the anode here. Okay. Now this explains why and how we get electrons generated at the cathode and how electrons travel at a very high speed the anode. Because it is step up, that means it increases the voltage. So if the voltage is more across,